What's up, y'all? Back again for day 33. Resolutions to reality. Um, the vlog about how things are going day to day and my progress on my New Year's resolutions for 2022. Let me see. Today's weather was. What did I say? 33? It's 34. It's 34. Um, right now is 20 degrees in Indianapolis. Right now it's 2:02 a.m. Didn't have to work today. My boss actually called and told me that work was canceled because of the snow. We got probably like 11 inches, 12 inches of snow, and didn't have to go to work. So spent most of the day here in the house, just hanging out, sleeping, eating, being bored. Um, Talked to a few people. Um, just here and there about different stuff. Um, got some snow and stuff shoveled off my car. Got my car started and moved so I could try to get out tomorrow, hopefully. I also have a doctor's appointment tomorrow that I want to get to, but I don't think I will. I think I'm gonna call and reschedule because of the weather. Um, but For the most part, I've been doing a lot of soul searching today, I guess you would call it. Had a lot of different things on my mind. Had some crazy dreams. A lot of random stuff going on here and there. Some stuff I want to talk about, some stuff I really don't. For the most part, um, I'm really not in the mood to talk about much of it because I feel like something that I've been dwelling on a lot lately is the fact that as an adult man in today's society, it's not really it doesn't really do me any good to um, speak on my feelings or emotions or um, speak on the issues that bother me because to be honest, I don't think anyone cares. I don't feel like anyone listens, and I don't feel like any of it matters because as a man, I feel like my place is to keep my mouth shut and suck it up, buttercup, and deal with it. And as shitty as that sounds and as counterproductive as that sounds, um, I do feel like that's what I have to do in order to um, get past, this hump. Because at the end of the day, I think, complaining about it, talking about it, even on this platform, isn't going to do me any good. It's not going to give me some type of um, deliverance or unspoken information that is going to make me feel any better or help me deal with, the circumstances. It's really just dealing with my issues and my emotions and my feelings for myself and um, learning how to, be a man about things, I guess. But one thing that really has resonated with me a lot today is I've been thinking about my brother Colin a lot. And I've been thinking about my grandparents. I was actually having a moment, an emotional moment after I had taken my mom to the ATM and came back home. Um, I had an emotional moment because um, I felt like I still right now, even now, I feel misunderstood and ignored about the things that I'm dealing with. I feel like I need to get some type of therapeutic help outside of just doing this because I really honestly don't want to talk to nobody. And there are times when I think to myself that I don't want to be here anymore. Like I don't want to even try to like fix my problems because like I said before, nobody cares. And even if they did care, the circumstances, I just feel like I've dug myself too deep into a hole. I feel super, I guess the best way to describe today's emotion is defeated. I feel very defeated. And I don't think it has anything to do with the things that I'm trying to stop doing, like as far as the smoking and abstaining. Those things haven't even crossed my mind really. The thing that's been on my mind the most is, conversations that I've had with my children's mothers and conversations that I've had with my mom and just things that I feel like are like, I don't know. I hear myself describing what's bothering me, and I hear my um, old supervisor from Duke who died. I hear him telling me that you got to stop being the victim. You got to stop playing the victim role. And as much as that pisses me off to hear someone tell me that, it's true. Like I can understand where I do play a victim role for how I was brought up. And um, when I was talking to my mom today in the car, and I was telling her about the things that one of my children's mothers had told me, and she had told me that she agreed with it, like she agreed with the things that she had said, and that didn't bother me. But what I didn't understand, that didn't register with her, was the fact that I'm not familiar or have any type of, I don't have like a rule book or a manual on how parenting is supposed to be done as a father. I don't have a role model. I don't have any, male example in my life to help me or give me advice or show me, what it takes. And that's not by my choice. You know, I'm I'm alone in this battle. And I don't feel like she takes any accountability for the fact that her desire to want to be selfish with me from the beginning is the reason why I'm in this situation without a father, and why it's becoming so much harder for me to be a father correctly to these children, because I don't have the resources to understand what it takes. But rather than, sit and feel sorry for myself or sit and complain about it on YouTube, I get into this mentality where it's like, you know what? I don't, I, more and more I dwell on it, the more I feel like I gain an understanding for why my father walked away from being involved with me and why he chose to move on and have a life elsewhere with other people besides me. Because it's day by day feels more and more like a losing battle. Like, when you're not in the home with that child and you're not a daily figure in their life, you're in constant competition with a person who always has the upper hand over you and has no issue belittling you behind your back and making themselves seem more predominant in this child's life, and also using that child as a token to show their selfishness of that child. Because if the tables were turned and something was to ever happen to any of the mothers of my children, and my children were in my care all the time, and I had the opportunity to show them that I was capable of taking care of them the right way, full time, I think there would be a lot better understanding of, my capacity as a father. But without that, and with no desire to, be confrontational with these women, and no desire to want to be involved with them personally, I'm automatically at a disadvantage in the eyes of my child. And I always will be. Like, there will never be enough for me to do to convince them that I'm doing my best just like they are. Because it's always well, you're doing this with so-and-so's kids, and this is how you are with them. Things that they don't even know. Things that they're getting from these children because the children are telling them things about their time with me in a way that they know is going to appeal to them as the mother. The kids aren't going to want to tell mom, oh yeah, I love it over my dad's, it's so fun. They're like, yeah, he made me do this, he made me do that. They're trying to sour my name because I'm not that nurturing, give you everything you want side of their life. And I won't be. I won't be that just hand you what you want, give you everything you ask for because it's you and you're my baby. Because that's not how life works, my boy. And it'd be different if I had 5 daughters and 2 sons. I have 5 sons and 2 daughters. I'm not raising these boys to be running around in life looking for handouts. You don't just get stuff because, and I think a lot of the reason why this came about was because of Christmas and how I kind of dropped the ball at Christmas because of the whole issue with my shoes and me not having the funds to really do anything else and needing Lacey to help me with that. And I knew that wasn't going to go unnoticed. I knew it wasn't, but it's like, I don't want to be defined as a parent by my last purchase. I don't want to be defined as a parent by some overbearing impression on my life. Like, okay, so for example, it bothered me that my dad would tell me when I was younger that he was coming to, a football game, a basketball game, or a swim meet, or anything I was doing, my prom, that he would come over and over and over. He would tell me that, like, oh yeah, I'll be there, no problem. Yeah, just let me know where it's at and I'll be there. And I would tell him and he would never show up. That boiled me. But for my birthdays and stuff, he would always come and bring me some money and a card, and that was it. He'd always leave it in the mailbox too. He would never be there to give it to me. And I appreciated that. But more often now that I think about all the things I've done, all the time I've spent, and all the impressions I've made, and the links I've went to. Like every one of my children has been in one of these videos. Every one of my children has spent time with me, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, or regardless of how, who else is around, had the opportunity to have vested time with me. And I've given them, the older ones, my two oldest, I've given them both many of times the option to talk to me or come to me if they need someone to talk to. And the fact that they never talk to me about nothing, never have anything that they want to talk to me about, never make any general, like, types of efforts of saying, hey, saying, let's do this, let's do that. I mean, my oldest son, he does. I will say, he has no problem asking me for anything. But my second oldest son literally will not ask me for anything. And I'm just not the kind of person that's going to beg you. I'm also not the kind of person that's going to jump down. What experiences have I had that would make me want to force feed myself to this child? If this child is not trying to interact and get close to me, and apparently this all started from him sending a video from TikTok in a group chat that said, you think I got hoes, but really I don't even have a dad. Like, and she sends me the TikTok. Like, I guess it was supposed to upset me or something. But I guess I'm too old to use the excuse that it still bothers me to this day that I don't and never have had what I've given to my children. And that affects me a lot. And as much as I try to talk to my mom about that and let her know that, it upsets me, that I feel like it's her fault, she don't care. She ain't apologized to me. She ain't said nothing about her, taking accountability for that. I'm up the creek. And not that that's going to make a huge difference in how I am with my children, but it does make it feel better to know that the person you do have, which is your mom, understands that somebody dropped the ball here. Somebody dropped the ball here. And maybe it's just me. Maybe, because sometimes I think, you know what, Caleb, you probably just had all these kids too soon. You had these children before you were even trying to be a parent. You were even trying to be in that type of lifestyle. And you're trying to be somebody you're not. You're not father material. You're not role model material. You're still a fuck up. Why are you trying to be somebody's role model? Why are you trying to teach the next generation how to be a fuck up like you? And it's like, I'm trying to go back to what made me a fuck up. What made me incomplete as a man that is causing this cycle to revolve. And it all comes back to me. It all comes back to me. And, at this point, I feel like all I can do is I can do one or two things. I'm going to separate myself from all of these kids. And stop trying to be something that I'm not. Or I can do what most people would like me to do, and fake my way through what I think I know I'm supposed to do and keep being led by the blind on how to be something that I've never seen before. Being a completely mysterious figure that I've never seen before, never witnessed in my entire life. And another thing that really sticks to me from my conversation with my mom was she even pointed out that my relationship with my grandfather should have resonated. Someone who was removed from my life by dying at 12 years old should have had the impact on me for me to know what a father was. Never considered the fact that, boom, boom is your perfect example of what's missing here. Boom, there's your perfect example of selfishness right there. Boom, you went straight to your own father. My own mother goes straight to her own father as an example for me, but was too selfish of a person to put herself aside to think about my needs of a father, and pushes my father out of my life for herself, knowing the type of impact her father had on her. Started the whole cycle right there. And it's just like now, every single time I hear someone talk about a dad or talk about a father, it makes me fucking sick. It makes me fucking sick. Not just because I feel so ashamed of myself for really just for this past Christmas. That's the only thing I have to be ashamed of, because I admit to dropping the ball there. I didn't have a job. I didn't have money. I put my eggs in one basket hoping that I would get this lump sum of money from Facebook from selling my shoes, which I really did not want to do. But I did for the sake of my children's Christmas. And it didn't pan out. And no one knows how that affected me, how that hurt me, how that bothered me, not being able to do what I had planned and not being successful with doing anything, having to rely on the people around me and God to do anything. No one cares. No one fucking cares. And it's like I'm spending all of this effort caring about these people who have no desire to want to understand my position, my situation, my struggle. And I'm spending my time trying to help them raise the people they care about, the people I care about. But the whole basis of our relationship is built on what I can provide. And I'm in a losing competition with somebody who is doing the same selfish acts on many different fronts as my mom did to my father. Whether I'm here or not, whether I'm trying or not, whether I'm present or not, it's never going to be enough. And realizing this and then seeing it being done in a cycle, I always knew that the parts of my dad that I have, I'm not going to be able to get rid of. They're embedded in my DNA. And for the life of me, I cannot stop thinking in the back of my head that the part of him that's in me is the part of me that makes me think I need to just walk away. That makes me think I'm not this person. I don't have what it takes. Like I'm going to live a miserable life, faking it until I make it, of trying to be a dad. Because it's just, It's not in me. I don't have those parts. And the background noise that says, just walk away like your dad did, gets louder every single day. Every single day I hear that voice of my father saying, I regret you ever being born. I regret being with your mother and having you as my child. I hear his voice telling me that day after day after day, louder and louder and louder. Every time I interact with one of my children's mothers, this is all I hear. Walk away, Caleb. You regret it too, Caleb. You did not plan these children, Caleb. You're a failure for yourself, Caleb. You're going to turn these children into failures just like you. That's the only thing you can teach them. If you hang around 4 broke people, you're going to be the 5th. And sometimes I wonder if I'm better off walking away and leaving these kids to fend for themselves like I had to, or if I'm better off just no longer trying to exist here in this life. Like if my purpose was just to create them and be done and be gone, because it's clearly a better life here for them than it is for me. Like no one is concerned about the 30-year-old dude who is having his suicidal thoughts. No one gives a fuck. I can fucking go right outside to my car right now, get my gun, handle my business, and lay my ass in this 11 inches of snow. And the fucking world is going to keep turning tomorrow. Everything will keep going on tomorrow like I never left. I know probably 2 people who would shed a tear for me. My mom and Lacey. 2 people. I would bet good money my own children wouldn't shed a tear for me. And that's what fucking pisses me off the most, is that I've personally feel like I've made diligent efforts to be better than what my father was. And those efforts have only gone to show me that I have done exactly what he was doing in the eyes of their mothers. And as long as they see it that way, that's going to overflow onto my children. It wasn't until I was 16, 17, 18, an adult man, and didn't have to let my mom's impressions or responsibility of me speak for me, that I was able to ask my father, why did you not want a relationship with me for yourself? And once I did ask him, he told me. And he told me honestly, I regret you being born. I regret you. And every time I say this to my mom, she always says, well, that's because you cussed him out and you were trying to talk crazy to him. First of all, I didn't cuss the man out until after he told me that, because that's how pissed off I was about who the fuck tells their child that. Second of all, even if I was cussing you out, that has to be some of the most deep cutting shit you can tell a life you're responsible for creating. I regret you being born. And I swear, I'm going to correct myself. I say I would never tell my children that. But in honest to God truth, in most reactions, in most interactions that I have with their mothers, my first thoughts are, I regret combining my life with this person for the rest of my life. I don't regret this child being here. I don't regret who this child is. I regret who I had that child with. And a lot of people don't understand how that spills over, because just like I have such a strong hatred for the part of me that is my father. I have that same emotion about the part of my children that is their mothers. Mostly just the ones that I don't get along with and that I did not foresee myself having a long-term future with. And there are multiple. There are multiple mothers of my children who I have that emotion towards. And they know who they are. They know who they are. Two, actually. Two. The rest, peachy keen. Everything's cool. For now. But there's such a dark energy over these bonds that I personally feel like should have been destroyed at all costs from the beginning. And I feel responsible for letting them continue. Like, I know for a fact two of these situations that I have with the children of my mothers, the mothers of my children, the children of my mothers. Two of the bonds that I have with the mothers of my children are most definitely completely unrepairable. Completely. I have literally shot one of them with a gun twice. Twice. That's unrepairable. And we still have to co-parent together. There's no way in hell you can convince me that I was not better off removing myself from these situations. And I'm still sitting here dealing with this shit. I'm still sitting here stressed out, emotional, suicidal, because I have these people in my life. And it's not so much about the conversation that we had. It's more of the fact that these relationships are not getting any better after all this time, all this effort, all of this fraudulent behavior. Like, I'm literally making myself, force feeding myself to believe that this is going to turn out better than I think. And it's not. The biggest takeaway from today is I have to stop expecting there ever to be a time with any of the people I co-parent with to feel like the amount of help I have to offer will ever be sufficient. I have to let go of that. I have to put myself into a mentality that understands every single inch and piece of what I do is never enough, never ending, and never comparable to what they have done. I have never carried a child in my body. I have never delivered a child into this world. I have never raised a child day after day after day, being the only life support system they have. Never. Never done that. Never will I be able to match the job a woman does as a mother. I can't. I cannot whip out my titty and feed you. So with that being said, I have to readjust my focus, not on what I'm not doing, but what I am doing. And maximize that. Because adjustments can be made on my behalf. Adjustments are being made on my behalf. I have 34 days of proof of the adjustments I'm making on my behalf. Just with these videos. And there's tons of things I'm doing outside of these videos that I don't even talk about. But I have to stop caring about this make-believe competition that everyone else is having with each other in the parenting realm. Start focusing on myself, focusing on my strengths and my weaknesses, and focusing on the same things that I've been focusing on. Bettering Caleb, because a broken, torn, suicidal, mentally exhausted and upside down Caleb isn't helping nobody be better. It's not helping nobody raise no kids. It's not helping nobody. So without a clear grasp on the progress I'm making for myself and the things that I need to do and I need to organize and need to improve on for me, I'm not going to be good for nothing. And it's really sad because these are things that I should have figured out before I ever had a child. These are things I should have figured out before I ever had sex with a woman. Too late. It's too late. Basically, the gist of it is it's too late for me to act victimized because the planning should have been done beforehand. But you want to know who I think helps you plan the most with how to deal with a woman? You want to know who I think helps a boy learn how to be a man and be responsible? That's right. His fucking dad. So guess who I had to figure out for him? The fucking streets. The fucking niggas I sat in class with. The fucking niggas I met smoking weed. The niggas I met out here playing with bitches like they still doing. But that's all right, because you know what? I learned. I figured something out. And I'm going to keep learning. But hopefully, today's a new day. We got 11 inches of snow and more on the way. So, sounds like it's going to be plenty of time to sit and figure out what the fuck there is to do and what the fuck needs to be done. And nah, today ain't no hunky-dory, peachy keen day like yesterday was. It ain't a bunch of laughs and jokes going on. But guess what? I'm still holding on tight to these resolutions. I'm still holding on tight to the things I told myself that I was going to fix and change about myself, because it's not just for me. It's not just about me anymore. And I think that's another really hard thing to figure out as a parent, that it's not about you no more. It's not about your problems and your issues and your struggles and your dilemmas. You got to figure that shit out later. But at the same time, it's like these struggles and issues and dilemmas I got they're going to be inherently passed on to your child if I'm not given a chance to figure them out. If these women that I have children with aren't making efforts to figure out their issues and dilemmas and problems with themselves, if we're not being a team about this shit, we're passing down these same fucking problems we have to the next generation inadvertently as fuck. My biggest fear at this point is that I'm going to raise children who grow up and have more children than they can fucking take care of or be responsible for or even know what to do with. And I'm going to be a granddad that has to take care of them because of the guilt I have for the generational curse I passed on to them. And it's already in the making. It's already in progress. It's already too late to stop. I read something once somewhere that said it's easier It's easier to train up children than it is to fix broken men. And at this point in my life, I am feeling very much like one of those broken men. I feel like I missed the bus of what most of the other men around me took as their way out of this, which was going to jail or going to the grave. I missed the bus. I stuck around too long. You have to die being the hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Adios.